You watched it so many times before, and now you're gonna watch it again. But it's been so many years since you last saw it, and now you show it to your friends, and they're like, what?
What am I watching?
What? Why this film?
And I'm joined today by Jay. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Very exciting. Your chosen movie today is 1996's Daylight, the IMDb breakdown. Disaster in a New York tunnel as explosions collapse both ends of it. One hero tries to help the people inside find their way to safety. Why this film?
I'm shocked no one had picked this before. Had you?
Really?
No, not at all. Had you heard of Daylight before I suggested
Not
it?
even a little bit.
Good. It's a very underseen, under-remembered film, I think. It's like mid-90s disaster movie when they were just getting a bit of a resurgence. And I didn't see a lot of films as a kid. I wasn't in a big film family. We didn't go to the cinema a lot. But this is one that I remember seeing a lot on TV. I was 9 when it came out in cinema, so I didn't see it in cinema. I know you didn't see it in cinema. I don't know if anyone saw this in cinema. But it was on TV. I remember watching it a lot. Like me and my dad would watch it, and it just kind of stuck with me. And I found a DVD box set a few years ago with this, Twister, and Vertical Limit. And I thought, nice. That's a trio of fantastic films. Fantastic, not great films. Well, Twister's a classic. Yeah. Twister's incredible. But Vertical Limit isn't good, and Daylight is equal. But it's a film I really enjoy. I like films where it's like a small group of people trapped in a situation trying to get out, and they kind of get killed off one by one. It's more like in a horror, like Final Destination, that kind of thing. Final Destination is my jam.
Nice.
But Daylight fits the bill as well.
Definitely, it fits in there quite nicely next to Final Destination.
Yeah. And it exactly fulfills the criteria of your podcast, and I showed it to my wife when we watched it.
Hey!
And she was like, why are we watching this film? So she literally quoted your podcast.
Amazing. I had never, ever even heard of this film before, let alone seen it. I try and go in blind if I've not seen a movie before, so I did. I watched it this morning, and I had no idea what it was about. And I'm not very familiar with the sort of action disaster genre, like at all. Like, okay. I was like, this is Rob Cohen, whose name came up, and I was like, best director in the world. Directed the best movie in the world. Exactly the same year as Daylight. So I wasn't watching Daylight because I was too busy watching Dragonheart. And there's even a cast member that crosses over. So I was like, I trust it. I trust this movie already inherently because it's Rob Cohen in 1996. And then it's a really lovely opening where we get introduced to like screenwriting 101, like the Breakfast Club vibes, where everybody's sort of introduced in very fun, interesting ways. So they all end up in this tunnel. And then, and we'll go into it in a little bit, but basically the tunnel obviously collapses, as is said in the IMDb breakdown, and I went, ooh, are they going to get, like, superhero powers? Because Daylight, I was like, that's a superhero movie name, and it's Sylvester Stallone, and then he was on the outside of the tunnel, so I was like, oh, so, like, maybe they'll all get powers and he has to convince them to, like, use them for good or something. Because he's just a lowly taxi driver at this point. And I had this whole plot in my head. And then it started happening and I was like, oh, no, they just need to rescue them. Yeah. That's the plot.
That is quite a leap to have made. That's a true, watching this in the 2020s, having been 15 years of Marvel films. Oh, this must be a precursor to...
Must be. In that sort of, there's that found footage-y sort of superhero movie, isn't there?
Yes.
With the like kid and the camcorders. I thought it was going to be that sort of vibe, but it wasn't. It was a disaster movie. So then I was really intrigued because, as I said, it's not really my genre. I don't know anything about it, and therefore I don't know the tropes. So I was genuinely like,
this film is nothing but tropes.
To die? This is the thing. But I was like, I can see everyone's a fucking stereotype, and it's like kind of lazy writing in some aspects of the characters, at least. But then when you've got so many characters, you kind of need people to fall into little archetypes, and they don't do it too badly, I think. As I think when you think of a genre and its tropes, when you then actually watch it, it's never as bad and big as you think it's going to be. It's still not great in places, but it's fine. I genuinely had a really good time, and I got horribly emotional so many times because I was sat here like, oh, surely the trope is that everyone's going to be fine. And everyone is not fine. And I was very upset about that.
Yeah, there is nothing original in Daylight. It is entirely comprised of other films. Have you seen The Poseidon Adventure?
Nope.
Okay, that's one of the best disaster movies of all time is The Poseidon Adventure.
Oh, okay.
With the original one with Gene Hackman and Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah.
And basically that's Daylight but on an upturned cruise ship.
Oh, okay.
It's, you can take a lot of the same exact sequences, like the swimming underwater.
I was watching it and I got lots of Titanic.
Yeah.
Which in theory is a disaster movie.
It absolutely
I
is,
guess.
yes.
So yeah, to me it was completely fresh and original, and I was like, wow, the disaster movie's kind of fun. Like, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really getting on board with it. And I'm still fresh from the viewing, so I've still got the adrenaline of the the adrenaline that the movie gives you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I'll wind down in an hour's time and be like, and I do have a couple of points already that I'm like,
Okay. Well, I'd say like my biggest disbelievable part of the film is that Stallone's character is called Kit Latura, which is my favourite Stallone name in the world.
It's because I thought everyone was calling him Kid, because that's a very New York thing.
Yeah.
Where he turns up and this old police officer man is like, all right, kid, we get a bit, kid. And I was like, kid, and it made sense that the policeman was calling him Kid. And then we get onto the tunnel and the man who had an affair starts calling him Kid. I thought in my head, and I was like, this man is clearly 45 years old. Like, he's not a kid.
He's seen some
stuff. Why are we calling him Kit? And it wasn't until I literally went to IMDb and it was like Kit Latour, and I was like,
It's a wonderful name.
It's a great name, and it sums him up perfectly. This disgraced ex-cop who turned taxi driver who just needs to help out, and if he hadn't, 12 people would have died.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, and it's really great that he, mirror up to life. He's like, I've done the training, we did a simulation of this, I know how it works out, and I want to follow that. And everyone else is like, nah.
It's very convenient. He's just having this guy out of everyone in the whole city is the one who's trapped just outside the tunnel, and he's the one who knows every inch of the tunnel, and he's a former. But
I bought it. Do you know what I mean? This was so new to me that I bought everything.
Yeah.
I didn't. So the opening is great. This is probably the first time I've ever seen a pre-Fellowship Viggo Mortensen.
Okay.
Which was fun.
I always forget he's in this.
Well, yeah,
because
he is the first to go. And it's such a shame because in any other movie, I think if this was made today, you kind of wouldn't have the Stallone character, and it would be about the characters that were already trapped in the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I think Viggo would arise as a natural leader.
Definitely.
And it's such a shame because he seems to be on it right up until the... And I got this as in my head I was ticking things off. I was like, that seems like a thing. Because, of course, Stallone comes in and is like, this is dangerous, you need to stop. And Viggo goes, no.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
And then he dies.
I'm a professional escape artist. I always find a way out. Dies.
And it dies. And you're like... and he just sort of, he drops to the floor, looks up, smash.
Doesn't
and you're
move. Stands there for a full minute.
Aragon. Literally. I was like, that's so annoying. But then at the same time, I was like, he has to die to prove to us and the people in the tunnel that this is a dangerous situation and that we need to listen to Sylvester Stallone. So I saw that coming. Just to stay on the deaths, I guess, as a running theme, what I didn't see coming was fucking George. Because
yes.
he is the first character that has stakes established.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first character who we meet that is a character that has someone waiting for him on the outside and a really lovely relationship built up at the very beginning. And I was like, this man will definitely survive because there's someone waiting for him. Got to get that bracelet to her.
This is very much a kind of a trope of the guy who's like, he's got the woman on the outside, he's like a day from retirement, that kind of thing, where he's the one with the perfect life, and he's the real emotional heart to the film, and he's the one that you're going to really cry for. But the fact that there's a whole action sequence of everyone in the tunnel, they all went odds at each other, they band together to save him. And they do, and he still dies later. So,
he still dies.
So that whole sequence of get together, nothing, for nothing.
And this is that's a really interesting point about this movie. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of what feels like fun box ticking that if you step back and look at the movie as a whole doesn't equate to anything.
Yeah.
So they all band together in a moment where they've all been arguing and they come together as a community of people and they save George, and then later on they still argue and they still like break up and it hasn't solved their relationship massively and George still dies. So you're like, what was the point?
Exactly.
As a movie, why did you do that? It's sad because Sylvester Stallone literally has to make like a decision to leave him behind, because the whole time I was like, off-screen death doesn't count. Off-screen death.
George's alive somewhere.
Yeah, he's gonna come back like fucking the Hound or whatever. Like, he's coming back. Like, I know it's happening, but he never did. And I was like, fuck you, movie. Because not only all of that, of course George is black. And like, whilst he's not the first person to die, it's still very much like you can't help but see it for the horror trope.
But like, the second person to die is one of the black prisoners. If we're just looking at the tunnel.
Oh, of course. I'd completely forgotten about him. God, I'm awful.
No, well, I mean, that's like hundreds of people die when the tunnel collapses. We have to assume all of the cars are empty with all the debris being dropped on them. But no one paid any attention to that. But yeah, looking at the actual like named characters after Viggo Mortensen, it is the big prisoner, whose name I do not know.
Yeah. Who again just felt really off as a character to me. Very... just like the sort of angry, aggressive trope.
It is a trope. I can kind of understand that situation that you're in. You're being in a prison transport, so you're already kind of heightened emotionally, and then you're trapped underground. This guy has just emerged. The other guy's trying to find a way out. Your emotions are all over the place, so I can see somebody being angry in that scenario.
And I think that's the thing. I know how I would like to think I would react in that situation, and it would be to stay alert and vigilant and follow the orders from the professional that I'm being told orders from. But then, of course, that's why they bring up his old scandal about how he'd previously left people to die. And that often comes from the sort of sub-antagonist, if you will. If the antagonist in a disaster movie isn't just the disaster, it's Sarah, who just keeps picking up that script whenever it's needed to have a little fit.
her husband Stephen isn't much better. I feel like if I was underground, I would be that character, a person who just keeps on finding holes in someone else's plans without providing any semblance of a plan. That's not going to work because of this. I don't have an alternative. I just know that's not going to work, and that would be my role.
I don't want to do that because you came up with it. And what sucks is that, like, we're initially introduced to this family of three. It's the father, the mother, and then this 14-year-old daughter who, again, has a camcorder that amounts to nothing. It doesn't, like, get shown on the news afterwards with her footage. She just has a camcorder. And then Viggo Mortensen spots it, uses it, and then it's never spoken of again. And you're like, cool, good job, everyone. And we're introduced to this family, literally, and this is the thing, I thought the dad was going to die because he'd had an affair with Linda. And so instantly I was like, you are my greatest enemy. You are the worst person in this tunnel. And his wife's trying to patch the relationship up, and the daughter's really angry with him. And then the disaster happens. The daughter instantly forgives everything and just wants to survive. The mum, whenever she feels like it, is just a pain in the ass, to the point where I was like, God, I wonder if Linda would have been this much of a bitch if she'd have been down here. Like, you start to be like, I'm starting to see why he cheated on her. Like, she's really fucking horrible.
Something I'd always remembered before, we have the writer character, Madeline, Amy Brenneman. She's like the New York writer with a terrible apartment, and when she's playing her messages, she plays a message from her partner who hasn't left his wife. And I always remembered, that's the family that gets trapped down with them because he'd had an affair. And if it was made today, I think that would be the case.
That would be a much more, because then you've got a much more stakes. But I instantly thought that, but then the videotape had like young children in it, and they have a 14-year-old.
That's true.
They don't know each other.
Yes, yeah.
So
that's just like a misconnection in my memory, I think it was.
But it's an interesting thing that they have two affairs happening for two. It's like they couldn't think of anything else. They were like, God, what do women do?
They sleep with married men.
Affairs, I guess. And then, what do horrible husbands do? Sleep around, I guess. And like the two ended up with the same trope, even though that's another thing that comes to the sort of, and then nothing about it happened, because Madeline is set up in this beautifully awful down on her luck opening where you're meant to be like, she is the person we are 100% meant to get behind, because she's having her Billy Peltzer Charlie Bucket opening right now, where everything sucks, and you're like, at the end,
a rat in her
gonna
underwear
be
drawer.
different. Yeah, that she's like freaks out. She has this brilliant moment in the tunnel where she's like, I'm sick of your shit, New York. And then at the very end of the movie, after all of that, she's like, I have to ride in the ambulance with you because I don't have an apartment and my life sucks. And I was like, brilliant. So nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
There was no arc there.
No.
There's not even really... There's only a very semi-implied relationship with Sylvester Stallone set up. Like, they don't kiss or anything.
Yeah.
So...
You shouldn't come to disaster movies for character progression. That's not what they're for.
Well, it's interesting because they should be the best opportunity for that, because it's like an ensemble play.
Yeah.
Again, it's like The Breakfast Club, but you're just having to dodge, I don't know, explosions every now and then. But it should be a brilliant piece that allows characters to progress and develop and change each other and help each other. But they don't. Instead, they're like, more explosions,
more water,
more character development.
Water from this direction now.
But that was so fun because, again, I'm not used to the disaster movie, so I was like, oh no, there's water, what are they going to do? And then I got into the habit of understanding that I was meant to be like, ooh, how are they going to get out of this situation? And that's where the fun comes from.
It's always blow it up.
Obviously.
It's always blow it up.
Yeah.
That's how they solve every problem. Blow it up.
And Sarah's like, what? But yeah, so we've had 3-4 deaths already, and then you think Cooper is dead.
I think the dog dies.
And I got so close
Yeah.
to stopping this movie and being like, how dare you?
I wouldn't do that to you, Emily.
I can't believe you've done this. We've not even met, and you're making me watch not only a dog that is the replacement of a dead son dog.
Well, no, it's the dead son's dog. So it's even worse. But
it covers both. It's the dead son's dog, and it's a replacement of the dead son.
I would not have made my wife watch a film with 2 dogs in it, with a dead dog. Because we have 2 dogs. She's had dogs all her life. I wouldn't. That's not.
You
not.
Would do that too. No, I Am Legend in your house.
Exactly. Yeah. And she used to have German Shepherds as well. So that's a film we have never watched that film.
It's banned. I can't even talk about it. It's really sad. You think the dog's dead, and the worst bit to come out of the dog being dead is that the dog's not actually dead. But before we realise that, before Eleanor realises that,
she dies.
She's died of heartbreak and hypothermia.
Whilst
And
hugging her husband.
It's hypothermia. It's like it's heartbreak because she just loses all hope. She's like, that was our dog. Hug me. I'm going to die now. And I'm going to start crying for this stupid 90s disaster movie because it's so sad.
And they leave her behind.
Sad. And they leave her behind. They leave her
steps.
floating corpse behind like she's Jack in Titanic. And then the fucking dog has the audacity to show his face again. And you're like, do you know what you've done, Cooper?
He was just off chasing a rat somewhere. He was just having a time of his life. He was just paddling around underwater.
Oh my god, no, that was really horrible. Just the whole journey of that was just awful. And then I think that's because I thought the dad who had an affair, because he had an affair, he was going to have to be punished.
Oh, no.
And therefore, Madeline would also be punished because she had an affair as well. So when Madeline was left behind, I was like, okay, she'll die then with Sylvester Stallone, I guess, because like people die in this movie, I guess. And that's her movie punishment. And then I thought the dad would sacrifice himself. I thought there'd be a moment where someone would have to stay behind to like hold something. But then I was like, he's just patched things up with his family and he's got a 14-year-old girl. Like, she would be in therapy for the rest of her fucking life if he were to make the decision to be like, I am going to stay behind and die for everyone else. Yeah. When Sylvester Stallone's there kind of doing that anyway. So then I was like, maybe that won't happen. And then it didn't. And if anything, he saved the day by following the instructions to leave.
Yes.
So I guess that was his heroic moment where he patched things up with his daughter, I guess. I don't know. There wasn't any clear, linear character stuff anywhere much.
No.
But it was still really fun. It was a really fun... I mean, the explosion... The
one at the start
kickstarts the whole thing is incredible. Like, I don't go in for like exploding movies, but I was like laying there and I was like, wow, that was really cool. Like, that was a really fun cinematic moment. Yeah. Like,
and I love
the
kind of the cause of it. Just these two different nefarious acts of disease. The covert transporting of these massive barrels of dangerous explosives and the jewelry robbery coincide with the dumbest robbers in all of history. With like
and
just the high-speed chase into the tunnel. There's no way out of the tunnel other than the way you came in. Like, you're getting caught. If you drive into the tunnel, you're getting caught.
And literally, and I got confused because the tunnel goes to Jersey. And in Hamilton, they say everything is legal in Jersey.
Okay.
And the policeman
I don't think they include diamond robberies. Okay.
And the policeman goes, that kid's a genius. He's going into the tunnel. We'll get our boys from Jersey onto it. And I was like, oh, maybe it was a smart move to go to it.
It's not Mexico.
Stupid.
It's not like crossing the border.
It was like, freedom! Go, baby Einan! Because the gem thief number 3 also plays young King Einan in Dragonheart. And I was like, hey! He had a great run in 1996 and was then
never worked
nothing
again.
Afterwards. Yeah. Rob Cohen was like, all right, I'll do you one more favour, kid. But yeah, so it's weird again that they are so separate because it opens with this. Again, I didn't know what this movie was about, and when there's suspicious barrels that people are trying to smuggle somewhere, I was like, clearly,
things are going to go awry. Yeah.
And then the jewelry thief happens, and it's just really fun. It's really fun when you're introduced to lots of different characters and then you're reintroduced to them in the same place and you're like, oh, they're gonna meet. It's like Avengers 2012 all over again when the trailer dropped and there was Captain America, Thor and Iron Man in the same shot, and I was like, oh my god, I know all of you separately. And it's really fun, but then there are some characters that get more screen time than others, inevitably, which to me I would be like, drop some characters and expand on others. But
I don't know if we needed all of the prisoners. I could have done without. Like Stallone's son, Sage Stallone, plays one of them, and he's like hitting on the 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, I was like,
what are you doing?
Maybe we could talk about this when we're not fighting for our fucking lives. And like father, like son, he's like, if we don't die in here, maybe I could call you later. And she's like, okay.
He's 20 and like, she is 14.
She's 14.
That is not okay.
Awful. And then fucking runs in the family, because right at the very end, where she's like, my life is still shit, even though I've just been through all of that. I need to ride in the ambulance with you because I don't have any insurance because America or whatever. And he's like, but guess what, though? We're going to have to take the bridge. I was like, Sylvester, people died. People just fucking died. Like, at least wait 24 hours before you start cracking, like, puns.
I mean, yeah, but you gotta let people leave the cinema on a high.
No.
You can't just, let's just take a moment here and just think about the souls we've lost today. Fade to black.
I want it to be like The Talking Dead, where it's like, remember those who were lost, and then it's like, ah, and everyone's like, face comes up in black and white. And then we get to leave, because there are consequences to disaster movies, and it's not fair that we're just expected to move on because some other major event's happening. Like, these people are going to be traumatized. They're going to be in therapy. Is there a Daylight 2 where we see the consequences of like?
I mean, I'd watch it. I'm here for it. I don't think there is.
And it's just like, it's just everyone in the therapist's waiting room, like mulling over what they went through.
And then that another tunnel collapse. It's an underground waiting room. And so that collapses and they get trapped in the waiting room.
And they all just fucking lay down and die because they're like, not again.
It's a much cheaper film. But you can't have that morbid moment at the end. Just like Infinity War. I hated Infinity War when I first saw it. Just because it's such a downer. And I just... So all these characters died. I want happiness. Like I see Marvel films because big explosions. Yeah. Fun times. And then it's all of your favourite characters are dead.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
No, I loved it. I loved how I mean, this is the person who, as a child, opted for the 1975 Japanese animated version of The Little Mermaid rather than Disney's because they kept the original ending where she dies and turns into sea foam. And I was like, yeah!
At 4 years old, I apparently laughed when Bambi's mum got shot. So I don't
Heartless! But I loved the ending of Infinity War because it was just like, oh my god, they did it.
Yeah,
like, they went through with it. It's like when Maggie Gyllenhaal gets blown up in Batman and you're like, oh my god, anything can fucking happen now.
I mean, I respect when they make these moves. So, yeah.
Exactly. And so I read something where Sylvester Stallone's character was meant to die at the end, which again would tie in quite nicely because it's like, he was the only one to survive last time and this was his one last hurrah to prove himself, and then he would die a hero. But now he's just survives as a hero and probably gets his old job back because the other guy died. If
he died, that would have been a very close recreation of the Poseidon Adventure. Because that's how Poseidon Adventure dies. That ends just with the main character. Spoiler for the Poseidon Adventure.
Well, yeah.
It's still a very good film up to that point. But yeah, so I feel like they couldn't. That would have just been too on the nose. There is a Poseidon Adventure 2, actually. There is a Beyond the Poseidon Adventure with like Michael Caine comes back to salvage the ship. He's not in the first one. He just comes back to Triton. So like people could come and try and salvage the fallen tunnel. They could be like the diamonds from the crash.
The diamonds
here we go.
There. That's why they did it. Quick, fucking greenlight it.
Michael Caine needs to come back.
Get? I want Elliot Page. I thought he would work really well in this movie. I want Michael Caine would be great. Michael Caine is the sort of like guy on the walkie-talkie.
Yeah,
that's
I think he's a little old to be going down there and doing it now.
Yeah. Oh my god, so good. I would fucking and like it'd be perfect because people are in that real sort of resurgence of let's bring back everything from the 90s because everything's miserable now, and everyone was kind of chill back then because it was pre 9/11 and you could blow things up without any consequences.
There's explosions in New York. You don't do that anymore.
And I mean, there was the shot at the end, obviously to establish that we were in New York. There was a big old shot of the two towers at the end, right after the joke. It was then like shot of the two towers, and you're like, good God, like you can't.
Do you have no shame?
It's just funny, isn't it? Like you can't ever help watching old things where they're like, and the two towers, 'cause New York, and not be like, oh God, darkest day in American history.
It's like watching shows now where people are like close to each other and coughing.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you doing?
Stop! Oh yeah, when George, may he rest in peace. It was when he was like, my neck's broken, isn't it? And I was like, no, don't say that. Oh my God, that might mean that you may have to be left behind. And I don't want that. I want you to be like craned out by someone and handed back to the woman that you were going to go on a date with this evening. And it never happened. But even then I was like, put the dog on George. What are you doing? You have a dog there. Put him on the dog, like put the dog on him to keep him warm.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people do. You're meant to put dogs on people to keep them warm. That's why you have a dog in a disaster movie. And yeah, like, he might lick your face while you're there. Everyone has a good time.
Especially the dog.
Yeah, my notes here are just caps lock. Are you fucking kidding me? She died for nothing.
Yeah, that's a sad moment. I'm sorry to have put you through that, Emily. I apologise.
Just, like... Like, well, I'd rather the dog stay dead than have Eleanor die of, like, that's how much I feel about this.
I mean, I'd rather the dog come back before she died, but okay. if we can pick.
Yeah. But like, I feel like we were at that point in the movie where I was like, someone has to go. Like, we're running out of time. We got 20 minutes left, and no one's died in a while. Like, someone's got to go. And then when Madeline falls back in with Sylvester Stallone, I can't remember his name. I was like, God, like, that was really interesting because she then. Because he kept saying, fucking leave, fucking go without me, leave me behind. And she was like, no, I'm going to be a hero because I'm on the high ground and I've got leverage. And then the minute she was in the pool, she was like, you better fucking stay and save me. And people were like, no, we're going to go save ourselves, obviously, because that's what he's been telling us to do for ages. And she fucking freaks out. And I like it because it's very realistic, that panic and fear of, like, imminent death. But I was like, how the turns have tabled, eh, Madeline? Like, not everyone can be a hero.
Yeah.
Should have thought about that, shouldn't we? You got yourself into this mess, Madeline. It's very mean. I felt very misogynistic watching this because I was like, God, the women are stupid.
I'm glad you're coming with that opinion and not me, so that's fine.
But I think it's the way that it's written and the way that it's presented. And that's obviously a massive problem because I hate it. I hate that I'm like, man, that guy should have stayed with Linda. Sarah's a massive bitch. Or like 14-year-old Ashley, who's like, yeah, you can give me a call if we literally survive this horrible incident, which currently has no way out. That's okay. Or you've got Madeline, who's like, just, like, she can't make her mind up whether she's brave or not. She just screams the whole time and is just miserable and has no happy comeuppance, which is just awful. Like fucking Patricia Arquette in Boyhood. You're like, at any point now, you could give us something nice, but you're not going to, and now the movie's over. Brilliant, thank you.
And the female prisoner whose main role is just kind of shriek.
To scream.
And scream.
Yeah. To scream at other people, to scream at
rats.
Because rats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a lot of rats. You've been through a lot. I can understand people screaming.
It was a lot of rats, but like she was the only one that was really making a big deal of it, and I was like, oh, of course. Like, it's not going to be like, I don't know, the old man who might have had a run-in with a rat when he was a kid and is now petrified of them. Like, no, it's
his wife just died. He's got enough to think about.
Yeah, she dies of heartbreak and hypothermia. And I mean, you know, it's not fair for me to sit here and say it's a bad portrayal of women, because I don't think anyone came off well in this movie, because they weren't worried about character so much as let's get some people in that have some stuff to get. This is the thing, no one had any sort of arc. I guess the closest to an arc is that the family needed to reunite, and I'm sure once they've all calmed down, they'll still be like, so you still cheated on us, like you still suck, and Mum, like, what was that?
Yeah, you're fucking not good in a crisis at all.
Yeah. Remind me to never get trapped in a tunnel with you again, Mum. Like, at one point she's literally like, Kit, I'm really, really sorry about what my mom just said to you, but please can you help us? It's like, fucking hell, Sarah, look at what you made your daughter do.
And after they've saved George, and they're kind of looking around like, there's water pouring in, what do you do? He hasn't really got a plan. She's like, we trusted you. For what? It's like, what was your alternative exactly here? Like,
like, to get this far, to still be alive right now. And she's the one that's like, oh, I read in a newspaper that you were a disgrace. I was like, oh, do you believe everything that journalists say? Like, I've been there with conversations with police people, and I have an idea of what's going on with Sylvester Stallone. How about you wake up and smell the subtext, lady?
And he was an emergency service person for many years prior to this, presumably. Would have saved dozens, hundreds, thousands of people before that point, and one time it goes wrong.
And what's really fun is that they explain why he lost his job, and it's because it was that guy's literal brother, and it was like a passionate decision, which then of course got leaked to the newspapers because they love over emotion.
Yeah.
So I really liked how it was like, yes, he lost his job and it seemed like it was a scandal, but it did also seem like a very ordinary situation that a police officer would find themselves in, and decisions were made and tragedy happened. But it just so happened that it was his brother. Yeah. So he, like, personally, which is very bad. Why is this man a fucking policeman? This is George. This is Sylvester Stallone's mate from the Force, who doesn't have the courage to speak to the current captain in charge to let him know that maybe there's an alternate route, and then, he's dead. And then George comes back, and he's commander-in-chief, like, acting officer
Acting
or
chief,
whatever.
right? So act!
So fucking act. And he's like, I'm scared, I don't want to do it. And it's like, how do you still have a job? And he's the person that's like, you killed my brother, I'm firing you. It's like, who are you, George? Like,
That's Dan Hedaya, who's an actor I really enjoy. He's been in a lot of things in the 90s. But I was annoyed that the initial chief died, because he seemed to be the one who had the bigger problem. The guy from Aliens. He's the guy who had a bigger problem with Kit, and then he dies immediately. Because you don't ever get that moment of... There's the resolution between the two of them. It's just
able to do what he wants now. Yeah, it's like, you can't be here. And then the other guy's like, you can't be here. And then George is like, I guess he can be here. It's fine. He's my friend. He knows what he's doing. I fired him stupidly. And then at the end they put the like chief thing on him, and I was like,
well, that's it. It's Frank is his friend, and he's saying like, where the hell's the chief? Standing right in front of me, as far as I'm concerned. So Frank is on board with Kit being in charge, because it means that Frank's got to make any decisions, I think, because he's worthless.
Yeah.
But then the guy who died, the chief who dies, the person who says it can't be done is always interrupted by the one who just did it. Is a terrible line of dialogue. It's so clunky. I don't know how he managed to get through it like quickly. Actors are incredible the way they can say clunky dialogue,
terrible lines, and not walk straight up to the screenwriter and be like,
what
rewrite it.
Come on, I'm a human being.
This is bullshit.
How do humans say these things?
Would you say this? Awful. I really liked the little cameo of the, like, businesswoman that turned up in her, like, grey suit with her, like, ice blonde hair, and she was like, I don't care about the people inside the tunnel.
Yes.
We must just collapse it because we have traffic problems. And they're like, what, lady, you're crazy! All of the people are like, lady, what are you doing? And she's like, get it done. And they're like, I guess we can't argue with that.
The city is bleeding and that tunnel is an artery.
Yeah, which was a really nice line. And I was like, ooh, it's so corporate.
Yeah,
it's so cold.
That would be the Tilda Swinton role today, I think. She would kill that role.
Yes.
But that's the film's villain.
Small role.
She's the biggest villain of the film, and she's in one scene.
But she's memorable. I love it. She may even have an English accent. Like I'm not sure.
Her name is Miss London, so that would make sense.
Oh, tropes. They were like, must be English. I guess we'll just name her after the capital city of England. Like, that'll do it, right? Love it. And, like, they all are just like, yeah, seems fine. Like, guess we'll just start digging. I wouldn't know shit. All these people, when stuff starts happening, it's like, the pressure in here, it's not going to be able to withstand it. Blah, blah, blah.
They're not thinking about the pressure.
Think about the pressure. I would be there like, I do not know how anything works. Just tell me where to go. And then they'll be like, hold your breath and go under this tunnel underwater. And I'll be like, I'll wait. I'll just stay here. It's fine. I'm not doing that. Like...
So I think the biggest set piece of the film is Kit's mission to get into the tunnel through the spinning fans. Which, unfortunately, this came out 6 months after the first Mission Impossible film. Like, same year. And I felt like that had a very similar dangling from the ceiling, getting very tense situation. Yeah. What did you think about that sequence? Was that, like, your favourite part of the film?
It's funny, like, when they first got there, because it's such a fun setup, they have a little mini model, and he's like, how are you going to get in?
I love the model. I love models in films.
Up. It's so cool.
It's like Dragonheart.
And he, like, lifts a little trap up, and he goes, here, and he flicks the spinning fan, and it starts spinning.
That's a well-made model.
Big spinning fan. And, yeah, like, someone put heart and soul into that. They're like, I'm going to make the little model. It's going to be so fun.
This is before 3D printers. So.
Yeah. It's like someone spent hours gluing, and it works really nicely, and then it cuts to the big fans, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And so there's like 4 fans that he has to get through on different levels, and each have a timer. 2.5 minutes.
Like, a giant screen time. I don't know who that timer is for.
I thought that. I was like, thank God someone thought to put a timer in there in case this situation ever happened, because this can only happen one time in these fans' lives.
He's got 45 seconds to get through the first one, then a minute, then 45 seconds, then 30 seconds, then 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Why? And once it's happened, you can't shut them down again. You can't go back. It's pure plot contrivance.
Brilliant. It's like invented by the Joker.
Yeah,
Like...
it's like the end of Galaxy Quest when they have the ship's been designed for an action sequence.
Why did you do that?
It's because it's in the show.
It's in the show. But there's no funny excuse here. It's just that's how these fans in New York work.
It's a reverse engineered action sequence, and it's terrible.
And so that I was like, I'll buy into it. Like, I'll go along with it. It's fun. And the first fan, they have to use a big spanner, like an oversized comical spanner that's just like a
happened
round.
to be on the wall.
Yeah, he's like, quick, use this to like jam it in and slow it down. And he goes through, and I was like, yes, let's go. And it's like, luckily the timer as well is beeping away, and then it starts really beeping when it starts getting down to 0, because it's like, beep, 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 quick, Sylvester, you gotta get through. And by the third fan, I was like, can we get into the tunnel now, please?
Yeah, we don't need 4
I am
of
bored.
these. He's gonna make it through. It's Stallone, and we're 20 minutes into the
I was like, he's probably going to be fine. Like, worst case, he might get a little injured that he'll have to deal with later on. Gangrene setting in. Maybe he'll lose a limb. I don't know, but probably not. Because he'd already used his tie to cauterize somebody else's wound, so he can't do that anymore. So I'm sure he'll be fine. It was funny. He had to, like, chop something off of him at some point. I was like, why did you choose to go down that way? Like, something was getting caught in the thing, and he had to, like, slice it off, like his walkie-talkie or something. Like, and I was like, why? Like, initially I was like, yeah, this is really fun. I'm buying into the disaster movie action trope thing. And by the third fan, I was like, I'm bored.
And then when he gets in, he gets out of the tunnel, and everyone's just so annoyed to see him. And everyone's like, great, you're here.
Are you it?
We can go back the way you came. No, you can't. Trust me, you cannot.
Yeah, you cannot. I mean, feel free, but I wouldn't. What do you mean you came down here and you don't even have a plan? Really nice set pieces within the tunnel. Bit confusing at points. Like, they get to a bit with lots of stairs leading up to this huge Jesus statue. Yeah. And I was like, why Jesus?
That was part of I think it's part of a bunker. Like a World War II bunker.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, it's got, like, a kitchen and whatever. Yeah. Like, it's briefly mentioned on the plans by somebody. So it was fine, but I was like, what a funny choice to have as a big thing that you have to move out the way, because it just reminded me of when Viggo Mortensen does his wonderful, so charismatic, like, I don't mind Sylvester Stallone, and I think he does a good job in this movie, and I've not really seen him in any other things, because he's not,
that's fine.
He's in something,
he's not my favourite
I'm not going to watch it. But I was like, Viggo Mortensen is very watchable. Like, I love him anyway. He's a very good actor. He's very charismatic, and he has this wonderful speech where he's like, if you're a prayer, start praying now. If you're not, maybe it's time to pick it up. And everyone's like, and they're like, oh, off you go, Viggo. And he really keeps morale up, and he's a real superhero. Sylvester comes, and everyone's like, who the fuck are you? Get out of here, we hate you. So again, I was like, this is why Viggo should have survived, everyone. Like, everybody was on board with Viggo.
He had the speech prepared.
Had a big old speech. He, like, taught her how to do the camera angle. It was cute. But he obviously mentions religion a lot in his little speech before he goes in as a joke. And then there was a big Jesus statue that has to be removed because that's the way out. And I was like, is this pro-religion? Is it anti-religion? Is it a callback to Viggo? Is it not? Is it where Viggo failed? Is it symbolic? Or was someone just like, how about a Jesus? Probably that.
Again, I'm going back to the Poseidon Adventure because the main character in that one is a preacher. It's Gene Hackman's character, and he has a showdown against God at the end where he's like, just why do you keep throwing things in our way? And just shouting and screaming at God. So.
That sounds really good. That sounds like a proper arc and a theme. Sylvester Stallone's bit is that he's, I don't know, trying to regain his honor, like Zuko. Like, yeah, that's it, really. Like...
I never thought we'd compare this to Grease, but okay.
It's oh no, not Danny Zuko from Grease. Zuko, the Fire Lord's son from Avatar and the Last Airbender.
Okay.
That's so funny. Zuko. Yeah, no. So again, in the Poseidon Adventure, that sounds awesome. Like man versus God, a question of your own faith when faced with the wrath of the environment. Like, that sounds awesome. This was just, and I guess we'll put a Jesus there.
Yeah, that seems to be it. Like, what could they have under here? I don't know, a church?
Yeah.
End of thought.
Yeah. And I started to think, like, what you could... Because then I was like, well, it's nice... It's a nice image, it's a nice sort of, like, it's something, you know, rather than just have, like, shards of metal that they would have to rip out the way. Like, at least it's, like, something that's, like, cool, I guess. But I was just trying to read too much into it, forgetting what genre I was watching.
It is a shame that Viggo dies. I think like he's the most interesting character in this character.
He is, and this is I would have liked to have seen him interact with Sylvester Stallone more. Yeah. The only thing we get is the sort of denial of call to adventure and then death. Like,
because he was born 6 weeks premature. His own mother couldn't keep him in.
So cool. I was like, I'd hate you if I met you in real life.
That's not how it works.
Awesome. Yeah, like, don't wear that as a badge of pride. Like, your mum probably had a really stressful time, both physically and emotionally.
Because he could have been like a more active villain going through as well, like really butting heads with him.
Exactly, and because he was like a setup, and this is the thing, when you have such big setups of characters, and his is quite big and Madeline's is quite big compared to, say, the prisoners who have one small conversation. Yeah. But then Viggo dies so early on and you're like, I thought because you'd established so much about him that we were going to spend more time with him, whereas other characters we literally meet so briefly before the disaster happens, and then we spend much more time with them.
Because he's got a whole like boardroom scene showing off his like the territory beyond. It's still out there. His whole brand.
That's a huge brand. He's famous. Like George knows him. He has his shoes. Yeah. He's charismatic. He's a good businessman.
It's Viggo Mortensen.
He's also a bit of an adventurer. It's fucking Aragon. Like,
this wasn't his first film. He'd been working for a decade at this point.
Yeah, so. I assume there's no such thing as an overnight success, and like it just so happened that the type of movies that Viggo Mortensen was in pre Lord of the Rings I probably wasn't watching because A, I was too young, and B, they probably weren't interesting to me. But
I mean, you got things like Crimson Tide. It's a submarine film, which it's a submarine movie. I haven't seen it, but I hear he's good in it. And like,
I'm sure he is because he's Viggo Mortensen and he's wonderful.
And Witness, Carlito's Way. These are films I'm aware of and have seen a long time ago. But so he's not in nothing. An episode of Miami Vice. Good for you.
Yeah. Okay. Good job. Yeah, I imagine he's like Alexander Skarsgård, who came to prominence in True Blood, and then you go back and watch old movies, and you're like, oh, there he is in Zoolander, and there he is in this, and there he is in that, kind of thing. So you can, it's fun. But I agree. I think he would have been a much better villain than just Sarah sitting there and bitching.
Yeah.
And they could have really butt heads, and then he could have had a nice sacrifice moment where he redeems himself but dies, and then that adds to Sylvester Stallone losing another person more so than because his whole issue is that he left people behind to die and he survived, and he lost his job and he lost his friends, and it was a huge scandal, and now he's a taxi driver. And the first thing he does, given an opportunity, is leave George behind. And it doesn't seem to have any emotional impact on him whatsoever, even though that's his whole thing. And it's like, what?
Yeah. I can't explain it, but it's true. What you're saying is true. That's what happens in the film.
At no point did Sylvester Stallone, I mean, I don't know what he's like as an actor. He seems like a very nice person from what I've read. But at no point, because I'm an actor and I always struggle not to be like, whenever I'm given a script or anything, because I'm like, this doesn't 100% add up thematically, and therefore I don't agree with it.
You like to have a job? I don't understand.
Which is why I don't get any work. But yeah, like not because this is Sylvester Stallone in 1996 when they filmed part of this movie in Rome. he insisted on staying in like a ridiculously expensive hotel that was $3,600 a night, and they were there for 3 weeks, and they let him do that. So would he not put the same care and passion and insistence into, hey, my character's all about this, and you make me do this very early on, and there seems to be no emotional consequences to my character's decision making from this point onward or anything? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, does he just show up and read the lines? Maybe he doesn't. Maybe that's what makes a good actor.
I think so. Well, I mean, he's a writer as well, still. Like, he wrote Rocky.
Oh my god! Well, then fucking even more so. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
But,
You
I mean,
need George to die. That's your whole thing.
he's been in some terrible films, so I would imagine he a lot of things he just does for the paycheck. Like things like Stop My Mum Will Shoot is an awful. Awful film. And I was like, Oscar, and some of the Rocky sequels aren't great. I've seen more Stallone films than I really want to, but things like
I don't think I've seen any Stallone films.
I love Demolition Man. It is a stupid film where he's frozen in the past and thawed out in the distant future of 1997 to fight off against I can't remember his name. Goddamn! But he's like a cop who's another disgraced cop.
No, I feel like there's a thing going on here. Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes. Nice. My apologies,
great.
Wesley Snipes. Name fell out of my head, but yeah, Wesley Snipes is fantastic. He's the Viggo of this film, where he's like the reason you're watching this film is for Wesley Snipes. But
and
Sandra
that's
Bullock.
Okay for Sylvester Stallone to be that sort of action everyman.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a genre I never really bought into, and like I can really see myself get frustrated with it. Even in things like Last Christmas, you may have seen on the podcast, I did a drunk Christmas, and I watched Jingle All the Way for the first time, and I couldn't get behind Arnold Schwarzenegger because I was like, "What are you doing?"
Jingle All the Way isn't a good film.
It's very, very bad, and a lot of people have a lot of nice things to say about it, and I don't understand it. And it's because he's playing his macho man action movie person, and I'm like, you suck.
I mean, the nice things I have to say about Jingle All the Way revolve around Phil Hartman. And various else.
Same.
So.
If you listen to that episode, we're very much on Ted's side. We can't understand why she doesn't leave Arnold Schwarzenegger for Ted.
I mean, Ted is kind of creepy.
No. No, we have a whole conversation about it. He's fine.
Okay, fine. I mean,
she's as bad. She's made for Arnold Schwarzenegger in the end. But yeah, and considering he has third billing, Viggo Mortensen, and he's one of the first characters we meet after George.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. We meet George, Viggo. Sorry, let me not mix up actors and characters.
Roy Nord is his character.
Yeah. Madeline, Roy, and what the hell is George on here? He's not even up there.
We do meet George prior to.
Yeah. On the IMDb, here we go. George Tyrell, Stan Shaw.
Yeah.
And we meet those three first, and they all have a good 2 minutes dedicated to them, and within the first hour of the movie, 2 of them are dead, and
That's
you're
true,
like,
yeah.
Why did you bother wasting my time getting to know these people? Whereas the second guy who dies, we literally get one sentence where he's like, yes, I used a gun for that robbery. What?
Yeah, they're talking about how he's stupid for using a gun, whereas the other guy makes more money selling phones. They both still got caught and are going to prison. So I'm not sure what the point there is, but...
And there's a line where he's like, why are you in this transport then if you're so clever, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I shouldn't have bought that BMW with cash. I was like, why have criminals? A lot of things do that. It's like in The Dark Knight. Why specifically have criminals unless you're going to make a point about the American prison system or how, in The Dark Knight, it's that criminals aren't all bad. Maybe they just got mad one day and murdered someone, but, look, they're not going to murder that entire group of people.
Whereas the non-criminals, they can't wait to do it.
Yeah, they can't wait to do it. They're capitalists, man. And, again, it's just a little odd when it, are you trying to shorthand something?
Exactly.
Are you trying to tell us something without having to say anything.
Yeah.
But in this movie, I don't know what it is, because all of the criminals have like different. One of them is very scared. One of them screams a lot. One of them dies, and one of them's Sylvester Stallone's son. And like,
I feel like it is just broad strokes. I mean, we don't spend a lot of time with them or with the old couple or with the family. We just have like one conversation each, and you get bare bones of a 2D character from each of them, and then that's all you need. Just you understand who these people are. These are criminals. That's all you need to know.
And I guess but like, it's never brought up. Not once are people like I expected there to be a classic, the middle class family or whatever being like, I'm not escaping from this disastrous tunnel with them. They're prisoners. They might murder us at any given opportunity.
We're back to Titanic, aren't we? We're like, the better half of the boat won't be killed.
yeah, exactly. But that doesn't happen. So again, I'm just like, why make them prisoners when you could have just made them like students in a car? It just so happens that that's also the most diverse aspect of this cast, and they're all in orange jumpsuits. I
suppose it could add to Madeline has to like save Mikey, I think it is, from the truck is overturned. She's got to release them. She's got to free them by unlocking the gate at least, and then but that could add to why she's scared. Nothing needs to be added to this. She's already in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, this is the thing. Or is it for us to be like, oh, look, she's so good because she even helped criminals? Yeah. It's like, no, the tunnel's collapsed and everybody here is human.
People. Humans.
And I couldn't tell if that was what we were meant to be thinking or whether it was more than that. It was just an odd choice. I don't know. And, like, some people got really deep into their backstory. Like, our son died, and you're like, oh, shit.
That was a nice little monologue to give the old lady before she died.
Before she fucking died. And that's why they did it, so we cared about her death.
That's very much a trope in disaster films. If someone gets a big character moment, their days are numbered.
You're like, oh, R.I.P. to you, I guess. Yeah, and it's... I would have liked... Mainly because he was young Einan, and I was like, hey, it's young Einan. I would have liked one of the gem thieves to survive, just to add that tension.
That dynamic, yeah.
Because there'll be a guilt aspect there, or perhaps there won't be, and perhaps someone would have seen them, and there'll be a moment later on where it's like, I saw you were the one speeding, you're the one who caused this crash, rather than just the constant, because I get it, there would be anxiety and there would be anger, but it seemed like constant... Sylvester Stallone, you don't know what you're doing. We hate you. We want to get out of here, but we don't want to follow you. But we've got no ideas of our own. And it was just constant bickering and arguing at him rather than what would have been nice. Like if there was it's boring and I would have hated it. But if Madeline had the affair with the father and there was a thing there and she was Linda or whatever. And if there had been a gem thief, just a bit more. But then maybe another person would sit here and argue there's already... a fucking flood and the explosions happening all the time. Like, we don't also need people to have their own issues, and even if they did have those issues, surely they would put them aside to survive.
Yeah.
And it would be unrealistic to have, but then you would just write it better. Like, maybe you'd get to a point where those tensions can be heightened and they therefore cause something rather than just, oh no, I guess the water's coming in now because... And that was a really nice moment because I think it was when they just left George. So again, I was still clinging on to the hope that I was like, I haven't technically seen him die. I haven't seen his corpse yet, so he can come back at any point. And there's like a hole that appears in the ceiling far away, and they're all going, oh no, which should have been an indication to me to go, oh no. But instead I was like, George? Like, have you regained the use of your limbs? And are you, like, hacking through to come and join them? No, it was just the water falling in, which was fine. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's fun. Now they're going to drown.
So you needed when Stallone and Madeline are at the end, just swimming out, you needed George to just, like, bob up next to them and find a raft for them to cling on to.
Yeah,
alive
I did.
still, of course.
I really did. I was genuinely so convinced that he was going to be okay, even when they were like, my neck's broken, isn't it? Yes. I was like, pfft. a flesh wound. Like, you'll be fine. Or that someone else, the crane would have hacked in and found him and rescued him out. Or just, I really thought he was going to survive.
See,
and I was like,
wouldn't have liked
how
that.
dare you?
I didn't
No,
want
I know.
that. Because...
And this is the thing. While I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah, but if that had happened, you would have pushed this movie away as the biggest, dumbest pile of shit that was that was too afraid to kill a character. But I loved George so much that I was like, let him live.
It's Jurassic Park 3. Billy in Jurassic Park 3 is a character I despise, and he dies, as far as I'm concerned, in the pterodactyl enclosure, and then his twin survives at the end of the film. He died, and they bring him back because everyone was Billy. I hate Billy. I've hated Alessandro Nivolo in every film I've ever seen him in because he survives Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, yeah. And this is the thing, though, like, if he's an awful character and he died, like, if they brought back fucking Nedry from Jurassic Park 1, you'd be like, fucking why?
I'd be cheering, thank you very much. Wayne Knight is a god.
You can only bring him back if he then immediately goes to prison.
Yes,
but,
true, yeah.
But George, I was like, you literally set up the cutest relationship ever.
Yeah.
And then you don't...
The two nicest people in the film.
Yeah. The cleverest, funnest, nicest people get the tragic ending. And I was like, fuck you. Same with the old man who loses his wife and nearly his dog. It's like...
After having lost his son already.
Yeah. Like, the fucking man who had an affair has no consequences for his actions. He's a true villain. Like, in a lesser movie, he'd have been punished.
But he's been rewarded for leaving again.
Exactly. And fucking Sarah survives after whining.
But do you think so the prisoners they made it out, and they're presumably going straight back to prison now as well?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, they were being transported, I assume, to a higher security prison, a lower security prison? Like,
I mean, it could have been something like, as a prisoner being transported, he doesn't have any character witnesses, so there's no one to speak up on his behalf, and he gets stuck with Kit Latura and goes through the film, and at the end of it, Latura goes, you know what, you're right, I'm going to come and speak for you in court as a character witness.
Exactly.
But no, nothing.
Nothing. They're just this diverse cast of people are going back to jail. Like, hope there's a therapist in there for the trauma that they'll have received.
They're being put back into another small confined area they can't escape from. Literally. Good luck to you.
Yeah, it's really horrible. Like, I almost expected them to be denied medical assistance. Do you know what I mean? Because America...
Get back in the tunnel.
Yeah, you go back down there. You can serve your sentence down there. So it feels very much like draft one of a choice of characters. I assume the title comes from the fact that they wanted... They're seeking daylight.
Yeah, in George's dying words, he says, "Get them to daylight."
Ah,
so
I didn't hear that. Drop. Nice. I did. Yeah. Oh, I missed the roll credits ding moment. I think I was too busy going, he's fine, he's fine, he's fine, he's fine.
He's not gonna. These aren't his final words.
Yeah.
He'll speak again.
But they don't. They don't come out into daylight. They come out into like a car park.
Yep. It's inside. It's in a building. They had one job. And I guess you could say that Sylvester Stallone and Madeline pop up in daylight, but like, I don't understand how they got where they got. I mean, I don't know how New York works anyway, but it always confuses me when people are on boats and then they're at the Liberty Statue and then they're somewhere else and they talk about Jersey and I'm like, what's going on? It's over the bridge, I think. I don't know.
They were under it. They were at a bridge that was going to Jersey. That is under the water, I can assume, at some point, because the water collapses into the tunnel, and then they blow up a point, and then they're outside the two towers, but in the water, in daylight, I guess. But he specifically said, get them to daylight, not Madeline,
get yourself and one other person.
Yeah. So for everyone else to pop up in some, like, car park, I was like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It does feel like an odd choice because they came up out of a drain. Essentially, they could have. There are drains outside.
There are blood drains on the streets, and like I guess how much time has passed? Because is it nighttime when we start going into the tunnel?
Yes, and they had 3 hours of air down there, we're told. So,
but it wasn't like 4 o'clock in the morning.
No,
it was
wasn't.
like 9 p.m. at night. So they would be coming up at like midnight, which
Yeah.
would not be sunny.
that would not be daylight. Get them to moonlight.
It's the little things, you guys. So, Daylight was nominated for Best Effects and Sound Effects Editing for the Academy Awards, and I think that's fair enough.
Stallone was nominated for Worst Actor at the Razzies, and as much as I don't like the Razzies, I feel like that's an okay nomination, because the scene where he's trying to save George on his own, and he's like, George, breathe, in, out, in. It's terrible. He's awful in that
God,
scene.
it's so bad. And you don't know what that's why I was really confused. The people started coming over, and it's meant, the music's telling me that I'm like, joyous moment of communal help. But Stallone's acting is jarring it, because I'm like, is he freaking out? Is he scared? Is he dying? Like, I don't know.
Does he not care?
Yeah.
Is he ambivalent to the whole thing?
Wake up. So that was weird. It also got nominated for the Razzies for Worst Original Song. So I am thrilled to go back and listen to Whenever There Is Love, the love theme from Daylight. They always call them a love theme, and that makes sense when it's like Pretty Woman or, I don't know, Ghost. But
Aerosmith. Oh, no,
I
sorry,
don't
Armageddon.
remember there being a love theme.
No, there's not
who's
even a
the
love theme in the
for?
plot.
There's pre-married people.
Yeah.
There's two people that were meant to go on a date.
That's it. We
And
have
as I
3
said-
couples in this film, 2 of which, half of them is dead at the end of the film. Another one, they still seem to be arguing, and then
Literally.
Kit Latour and Madeline
They don't.
are going to ride an ambulance, but that's about
They're
it.
not together.
It's
They're
not gonna
not
last.
together. Like, if you wanted Sylvester Stallone to survive the end of this movie, it's just so weird, because the whole time I was like, she walked onto the screen and I was like, she'll end up with Sylvester Stallone. Like, there's our woman.
There's the
hot,
appropriately aged woman.
down on her luck. Yeah, like, there she is. She'll be fine. And, like, he was like, you got guts, kid. You did the thing with the wire. Like, you're coming with me, kid. And she's like, I'm so afraid. I was like, she'll get over it. They'll bond.
Yeah.
And at one point, he's like, don't sit alone. Sit in groups to stave off the hypothermia.
You,
She
over here
immediately
with me.
goes and sits
Yeah.
by herself. So he goes and joins. I'm like, you're a fucking dumb bitch. She just told you to stay in groups.
But she wanted him to come over and sit with her.
But
She
then
was
she,
thinking
like,
about it.
throws herself on him in a really awkward way. Really, like, I was like, what are you doing,
Well,
Madeline?
he's
like,
been like quite handsy with her throughout. He keeps on like touching her back and touching her side throughout the whole film.
that's
as
just
well.
a man in a movie
Yeah.
is my least favorite thing. Like, I just want to have a moment of silence for all of the bruises, for all the leading ladies that have been grabbed in their upper arms by men and shook.
Yeah. Moment of silence.
It's just not fair. But I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I laughed. Well, I didn't laugh.
No, it's not a very funny
I
film.
didn't laugh at all, actually. Not one bit was funny, even the bits that were trying to be. It really wasn't funny. There's one joke and it's the end.
Yeah, and it's in bad taste.
It's very bad taste. Like, fucking people died. That's really interesting, because I was going to be like, I laughed, I cried. Like, I cried, but I didn't laugh at all. In fact, I got very angry when there was
Yeah.
a joke. And I wonder if injecting humour into this would have made it bad. I mean, it did at the end, but...
It'd make it a
You
different
know.
film. Because
Yeah.
none of the characters are real, like, laugh a minute. Wisecracking. No one's there for comedic relief.
Well, Viggo could have been, because
Yes.
he makes them laugh.
Yeah, he could have been. Or, like, one of the prisoners could have been just, like, a funny guy, rather
A
than just hanging
wisecracking
around.
drug
Yeah.
dealer instead of like a, I still think one of the gem thieves should have survived.
Yes,
That
I
would've been
think it would
cool.
have been better. Do you think it would have been better with your superpowered subplot?
I want to see it now. I want to see a Daylight where, because you've got characters who, again, in that situation, it'd be really interesting because you've got a bunch of prisoners who are like clearly angry at the system.
Yeah.
Then you've got a man who's had an affair and his wife and his 14-year-old daughter who's very angry with him, and now all of a sudden it'd be like the Incredibles on steroids, like the anti-Incredibles, because she take her anger out on her dad? Would it be like the Power, where she suddenly can like shoot lightning or whatever? Then you've got the New York writer. That's what I was going to say. Just to go back to her really quickly, I was like, please don't do it. Don't do what I think you're going to do. And she doesn't. There is a look that she has at the end of the film, and I went, I could interpret it this way, but I'm going to interpret it that way, because I was waiting for her to go, I finally have an idea for my play. And I would have been like, how dare you?
I would not have put it past this film.
And I was waiting for it, and she has a look at the end that looks a bit like she's thinking, this is going to take Broadway by storm.
Quick, someone get me a typewriter.
But I like to think that she's like, I'm alive, and that's a good thing. Because can you imagine the lawsuits from the people involved being like, are you fucking what?
The film ends with her closing a book. Like Daylight by, by
I
Madeline
honestly,
Thompson.
I waved over and saw that there was only 15 minutes left when her and Stallone were still in the tunnel. So I was like, phew, like there's not going to be time afterwards where the girl's cam footage of Viggo Mortensen was shown on TV, or we're not going to go to Broadway and like have a standing ovation for Daylight the play.
Oh, it's the red carpet with her and Kit Latura walking up it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And all the people are there, like they're getting closure from this performance.
The prisoner's still in handcuffs, but they get to go to the
but they're allowed to watch the show. I really, really thought that that's where it's going. But what's nice about disaster movies, I guess, is that like once you're out of the disaster, the movie ends and there's nothing to wrap up.
That is the best.
So.
Like, actually, that's not always the case. Like Speed, like when they get off the bus, there's still like half an hour of film left after they get off the bus.
Oh God, I haven't seen Speed in years.
There's a whole like train sequence.
Oh yeah, because that's when he gets his head sliced.
I'm taller.
Up.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake. So I'm really happy that didn't happen, because they established her as a writer, and I was like, she's gonna fucking write about this, isn't she?
I mean, she probably is. You're right, what you know.
She probably is. But no, so she would have been fun to have powers, like maybe she gets like telekinesis or something, or the ability to read minds, so she's able to like write really good characters or something. I don't know, it just would have been really fun, and especially if it had stayed in this tunnel, so they still had to be dug out of the tunnel. But they all have these powers, but no one's powers are enough to, like, no one's got super strength to move the tunnel rocks out of the way or whatever. And even if they did, there'd still be, like, the pressure involved. Someone can fly, but, like, you're trapped in the tunnel still, so it's really unhelpful. I don't know.
I like it. It's great. Like, it's not someone could, like, swim really well.
And they, like, help everyone through.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to have only half the movie in the tunnel, so then you'd have the second half of the movie out of the tunnel that then wraps up all the storylines, where that's when Sylvester Stallone is really having to be like, please no one use this for evil, and one of the prisoners starts taking it out on the police force or whatever, and yeah, I don't know.
The dad turns invisible so he can go and sleep with his on the side.
Yeah. And the daughter keeps trying to shoot lightning at him. Yeah.
I think we've got a winner here. Let's go.
Especially in today's climate where they're like, oh, what movie? Absolutely, you're greenlit.
Oh, yeah. Elevator pitch, Daylight with superpowers. Done.
Yeah. But yeah, I genuinely really enjoyed it. I wasn't like, ew, what has he made me watch? As someone that's new to the genre, it was a nice introduction. I now understand the tropes. Now I have to be much more guarded with my emotions because not everyone makes it out. So yeah, really fun.
Good. Well, I'm glad you didn't hate it.
Yeah, I didn't. There are several problems, but what movie doesn't have problems? Anything by Edgar Wright. But that's
agreed.
The point.
Yes. 100%.
But yeah, yay! Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You've already talked about Deep Blue Sea, but like, where can we find it, and what else have you got going on?
Okay, well, yeah, it's Deep Blue Sea. The podcast is available everywhere podcasts can be found. If you can't find it somewhere, then let us know and we'll put it there. We finished doing the first Deep Blue Sea. We're now on to the sequels. because there was Deep Blue Sea 2 and 3 that went straight to DVD. They are lesser than the first one. We're halfway through 2 at the moment, but we just had the director and star of Deep Blue Sea 3 on, which is what's going to drop this week. So John Pogue and Tanya Raymond. So that was a fun chat. So we're going through those chapter by chapter. There's only 10 chapters in Deep Blue Sea 2 and 11 in Deep Blue Sea 3. So much shorter. And same length film, much longer chapters. Which is fine because, like I say, Deep Blue Sea 2 is less good than Deep Blue Sea 1. But we're having a fun time talking about it.
Yeah.
But you can also, I have a blog, lifevsfilm.com, Life vs Film, which is mainly my just reviewing films. My main mission in life is to go through the 1001 movies you must see before you die list, which is a terrible thing to do because it's lots of terrible films on there. Very, very few with sharks in, and very few disaster movies. Lots of worthy dramas that, frankly, I'm never in the mood for.
Yeah, literally, like if it's nominated for an Oscar, I'm not interested.
Yeah, you've got your 8-hour documentaries on the Holocaust, that kind of thing. Which I watched Shoah whilst building a bookcase.
In the mood for that,
right? But yeah, you kind of plough through and you get through. And you go, yeah, you know what? The Holocaust was a terrible thing. I agree.
Yeah, I get it.
Thanks, Shoah.
I don't deny it.
Yeah. So I'm reviewing that as a slow progress. I've been doing it for about 10 years at this point, and I'm nowhere near halfway. It's taken me a while. But also, I was the host of the Lambcast for 7 years, which, and Emily, you've been on a couple of times, and you'll be on again. You joined just after I left, so this is the first time our paths have crossed.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose, I promise. I didn't wait.
Just waiting for me to go, and then you apply. But I do a monthly movie trivia show on there, which you're going to be on soon, Lampardy, which is always fun, so check that out over on the Lambcast. And the Lamb itself, the large association of movie blogs, largeassmovieblogs.com, is exactly what it sounds like. It is a large association of movie blogs. We have over 2,000 members of movie blogs and podcasts, and anyone out there who has one or would like to start one, then please get in touch. We'd love to have you as part of the community. But thank you very much for having me on. This has been a lot of fun.
Yay, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being my introduction into the genre of action disaster Stallone.
I'm not sure how many Stallone's done actually in terms of disaster movies, but this is
surely all of them are disaster movies in
one
way or another.
Maybe, but there are the 1970s was kind of the disaster movie heyday, so there's a lot to check out from that era. The airport films, the airport franchise is terrific.
Oh God.
And the Poseidon Adventure, Towering Inferno, that kind of thing. When you get to Earthquake, that's when they start getting terrible. If it stars Charlton Heston, it's probably not a great one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair. You damn dirty ape.
Indeed.
That's all I know about him.
I mean, that's a fantastic film. The Planet franchise is incredible.
Could we argue that that's a disaster movie?
It could be debated. It's a lot of things. It's a disaster, sci-fi, time travel, who knows, many things.
Drama, romance.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think there is some of both of those in there.
Probably. I've never seen the Tim Burton version. I think there's more romance in that one.
It's awful. But my happiest memory is watching that with my mum. And about halfway through, her turning point is like, how did they train these monkeys to talk? Which... Oh, you mean the ones that look like Tim Roth and Helena Bonham Carter? Yeah. They just happened to find a monkey that looked like Michael Clark Duncan and trained him to talk. Okay.
That's so funny.
She also asked when Lord of the Rings was set, so you know. I mean, yeah.
Prehistory.
Prehistory.
Prehistory. Oh, yay! Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll see you next time on Why This Film. Bye!
Bye.